Hi everyone, welcome back. I get so many questions asking me about how to find profitable niches, how to actually create designs, and finally how to keyword those designs, as well as if I actually still do print on demand. So I honestly thought it would be easier if I just showed you my entire process from start to finish. Yes, I'm still uploading, advertising, and managing all of my own e-commerce print on demand stores. Again, I've been doing this for nearly a decade at this point, so this is all pretty second nature to me. I went from having no experience in the field at all to becoming fully self-employed and having built about $1 million business within about a 3-year period. And if you've been keeping up with all my other YouTube videos, then you know that I have plenty of other business ventures currently going on, but I do still make time to keep up with my e-commerce print on demand businesses. So without further ado, let's jump right into the tutorial. So before we get to the market research, I just wanted to preface this whole video by saying that this doesn't necessarily need to be Amazon Merch on Demand specific necessarily. I also sell items on Amazon's Seller Central program, Etsy, and Redbubble. But the point of this video is to show you my complete process from start to finish so that you can utilize the tools and techniques that I'm about to show you for whatever platform or program you choose to participate in. So to start out, I'm going to first navigate to my favorite software tool to use for market research, and that is Merch Informer. So you can get there a few different ways. You can either just Google Merch Informer. You can see I've done that at the top right here, or you can go to merchinformer.com. And once you click on their link, it'll bring you to their homepage right here where you can see all of their offerings within the software. And so for the price of Merch Informer, I definitely think this is worth it, especially because of this feature right here, the built-in designer, which I'm again going to walk you through today. So if you scroll down, you can again see kind of more what the interior will look like. Again, I'm going to walk you through all of this from market research to actually creating a design account. And then of course, listing that design on my Merch on Demand account. And then if you scroll farther down the page, you'll of course come across pricing. You can also access pricing up here in the top menu bar. And the other thing that I really like about Merch Informer is that they offer monthly and yearly payment options, and all of their plans offer a free trial. So if you click right here, you get a 3-day free trial so that you can actually try out the software, see if it's a good fit for you and your business, and then sign up appropriately if it actually is. So as you can see, all of their prices are very competitive and I think are more than worth it. And the good news is that today I do have a 20% off coupon code for you. So that code is MMM20. You can use MMM20 at checkout to get 20% off any of these monthly or yearly subscription costs. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and log into my own account. So for the purpose of today's video, I'm going to focus on the Merch Hunter. This is probably my favorite research module of theirs. And honestly, what I like about this is that you can toggle the BSR. So if you're familiar with BSR, bestsellers ranking, you know that 1 is the absolute lowest that you can get. That would be like the #1 selling shirt on Amazon, period. So I don't really want to compete with the #1 selling shirt on Amazon. So I usually toggle this up to somewhere between 100,000 and 200,000. And then I bring this one all the way down to maybe 1 million, a little bit more than 1 million. Then I'm also going to search by review number so that I know that there's actually demand for these items. So I'm going to type in 20 reviews. And then for price, just because I don't necessarily want to see the cheapest selling shirts, I want to see, again, like I've explained before, shirts that are priced maybe a little bit higher just because you know that there's more demand for that. If you know my pricing strategy, you know that, again, I price everything at $14.99. And once I actually have reviews on that item, then I increase it to $16.99, $17.99, all the way up to $19.99 for my best selling items. So I'm going to assume that other sellers kind of approach this in a similar way. So I'm just going to say that I would like to see shirts listed for above $16. And if you want to, you can toggle this end down. I don't know who's pricing their shirts at $100, but I could say I want to see top tier shirts up to $25. And then the other thing that I added here, because I kind of know that I want to try to focus on the hiking or the outdoors niche, was just the simple keyword of hiking. And then I clicked on search right here. So I'm kind of just going to scroll through here and we'll see if any of these really stand out to us, if there's anything that we think would do really well in this space and is actually worth our time to create. So right now, this design right here, it says it's another half mile or so, is standing out to me. I'm going to click on this eye right here and it should tell me a little bit more information about this shirt. Wow. And it's going to open up all of this additional information for me so you can see the title, the features, the description. All of these red things are things that could potentially be trademarked. Now, I don't necessarily worry too much about a single word trademark like dark or machine, and sometimes I don't even worry about 2-word trademarks. So this is just a color, heather gray or cross country, but I will show you further on when we're actually listing the design, things that I would potentially look out for. And if you scroll further down the page, you can see this graph right here. So you can see the purple line and this kind of turquoise line. So the purple line is sales rank. You can basically see how often they're making a sale, what their BSR has been. And so you can see that they've made an absolute killing on this shirt. I believe their lowest BSR, let's see if I can find it one more time, was around 29,000, 26,000 BSR. So they made an absolute killing on this shirt. And you can see even during non-Q4 times, they are still making very consistent sales. So that's very hopeful for me. And as you can see along the bottom here, their price has remained pretty consistent around $16.97. And then here you can see that their current price again is $16.97. They have 161 reviews, which are all pretty good reviews. So that's a good sign. And their current BSR is about 412,000, which is also pretty good. And I would consider this an evergreen shirt, especially people that live in warmer climates or people that are going on vacation. Then I always like to actually open the Amazon listing itself and just take a look at it to see like what colors they offer it in, if they're offering it in kids or youth or just men and women's, and just kind of how their overall description and listing looks. So all of this is looking really promising to me. The last thing that I want to do here before I actually decide that this is the niche and the t-shirt that I actually want to focus on is head over here to product search. And I'm going to type in a keyword here. So I'm just going to type in half mile or so and click search. And then this is helpful information because this is basically where they're telling me that either this is too saturated or no, go ahead. I think you could actually stand out here. So the competition score right here, as you can see, is B, which is excellent. So again, that is proof to me there is room in this niche for me to be competitive, to stand out. So again, think of this like a school grading system. So A would be, there's pretty much no competition, feel free. And F would be, this is so oversaturated. You either need to niche down or pick a different niche altogether. And then the next thing that I'm going to do here is I'm just going to open up some of the competitors. So here's another one that has currently a little bit better BSR, a few less reviews. I'm going to open that and I'm just going to keep going down this list and essentially looking at competitors so that I can kind of make a list of upcoming keywords that I want to use in our future listing. All right, so now that you can see I have all these tabs open across the top here, these are all of the top competitors for that shirt that we initially found. I'm going to go through each one and I'm just going to do my future self a favor and make a list of keywords that I would like to use in my upcoming listing. So here is our actual keyword research section. So obviously we're going to include half mile or so. So I'm purposely going to start over here on the right-hand side because this shirt is the one that's selling the best, has the best BSR currently, meaning that potentially its keywords and or its design should weigh more heavily into my upcoming design and listing. So I'm just going to go through all of these designs and quickly make this list here. And I'll let you kind of fast forward through that and watch me do that. So a few things that I wanted to point out now that I'm to the bottom of this listing is that obviously this seller is keyword stuffing. So make sure that you are not doing that. In the long run, that can actually hurt your listing. So hiking shorts, hiking shoes, hiking socks, hiking stick, and hiking water dry. And then down here, they're saying great gift, which if you're a serious seller and you've been around for a while, you know that Amazon really frowns on you using the word gift. There was a whole thing, I want to say it was like 5 years ago, probably at this point, where we all had to go through and we all had to edit the word gift out of all of our thousands and thousands of listings. And it was a complete nightmare. So do not put the word gift in your listing. And if anybody on YouTube that you are watching is telling you to use the word gift, that's honestly a red flag that they don't know what they're talking about. And again, you can see they're saying partner, hiking companion, uncle, aunt, father, mother. Again, we're not keyword stuffing here, so I'm going to ignore all of that. We're not going to do that in our listing. The note that I wanted to make about this listing is that they used the word funny first. And I have noticed also that if I use the word funny first in my listing as the title name, that shirt tends to typically sell a little bit better for some reason. So I'm going to make sure to put that on our list. Another thing to point out here is that in this listing, they said men, women camping. So again, don't be doing that. You don't need to be including those specific words in the title. That can, again, get you in trouble. Those are clearly listed right here. This one has no title. So somebody obviously messed this up, but it's still selling pretty well. So again, that affirms that this is a pretty good niche. Again, you can see here, this seller used gift in the title. So again, don't do that. Here is my complete list. And I also wanted to just show you one one more place. So if you go back over to the product search and you scroll down just a little bit, you can see related keywords. Now, not all of these are going to be actually relevant to our design, but you can see it's another half mile or so shirt and the search volume, and it's another half mile or so and the search volume. So again, I put those in our list. So that essentially wraps up the market research and the keyword research portion of this video. Now I'm going to hop into design creation. So we know that we want to create this design. We've researched it. We've confirmed that it is in high demand, but there is low competition, and all of the shirts seem to be selling fairly well and have a number of reviews, and it has a competition score of B. So again, that is all very encouraging to me. So now let's jump over to the Merch Informer Studio. All you have to do is go up here to the top right-hand corner and click on Merch Informer Studio. So this is what the Merch Informer Studio is going to look like as soon as you open it. The first thing that I personally like to do is click on having a transparent background, just so that you know exactly how your PNG file is going to look once you're all done. So let's get into the actual design portion of this. So if you look along the left-hand side here, you can see all of the tools. So free drawing, you can add certain shapes or elements. Of course, you can add text to your design. You can add some images from their file library, or you can start playing around with certain templates that they already have pre-uploaded. So I'll show you kind of how to use all of those in today's video. So first, let's go over to the template library and we'll see if there's anything that we might want to utilize in our existing design. So you can see they start out with some more simple text-based designs, and then they move into more graphic designs. So of course, go through here and see if these will align with any of the designs that you're wanting to make. For the sake of today's video, I'm just going to click on this one. I kind of like the text design in this, so we're going to see what we can do with this design. Then just click OK. So the next thing I'm going to do is just kind of play around with how I want the text to be here. So for example, here, I want the gap between these two lines of text to be smaller. So all I'm going to do is come up here and click on text size right here, and then I can adjust the line height to make that however I would like. Okay, so the next thing I think I want to do is add an image right here in the middle of my screen. So I'm going to go over here to the file library right here. And you can see along the top here, they have images from Pixabay, from Unsplash. They even have their own Merch Informer graphics and Merch Informer clip arts that I believe they release on a monthly basis. I think that's only if you're a pro member, so make sure to check that out. Now, since our design is hiking themed and it's going to say it's another half mile or so, I searched for hiking, and I'm going to kind of just scroll through here. These are all free for commercial use, and I'm free to use these on my design. So I like this one right here, so I'm going to click on that. So now the next step is you'll notice that this image is in the way of my text and there's a white background on it. So basically I have to remove the white background. So all you have to do to remove the background in the Merch Informer Studio is come up here to Effects, Remove Color, and then check this box right here that says Remove Color, and it'll remove the background for you. So I'll just click OK. And then you'll notice I'm just playing around with the text to make it exactly how I want it. So of course you can change the font here, you can change the text size here, and then I'll show you in just a second a cool effect that I'm going to put on this text at the top here. So to put the effect that I was referring to on the text, I'm going to click on Fill right here. You can see that it's basically added two colors to all of my text on this top line right here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is find my distress layer. So you can see over here, you can see all the layers that you have that you're currently working with. So it's a little bit similar to Photoshop in terms of the layers. I'm basically going to find this distress layer. So I can just click over here. It will automatically locate it for me. And I'm just going to drag this to the top because I want that to be on top of the image that I just added. So that's basically my entire design process. You can see that I added the text on the top, the text on the bottom. We used the preset template to help us kind of figure out what kind of style we wanted. We found an appropriate free for commercial use image. So I have put that right here. And then we've added a cool distress layer. And then of course added that effect to this top layer of text right here. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now all I have to do to download it as a PNG file is go up here to the top left-hand corner and click on download current design. And you can see it's downloaded to my downloads folder. Super simple, super easy. So I'm going to meet you over on my Merch on Demand account and we will get this uploaded as an actual listing. All right, so now I'm going to head over to the actual Amazon Merch on Demand website and log into my account so that we can actually list this on my account. So once I'm logged in, all I have to do is click on the create button right here in the kind of top left-hand corner. And then I just have to go find that PNG design that I just downloaded from the Merch Informer Studio. Then all you have to do is literally just drag it and drop it right here where the artwork goes. And then right here where it says select products, this should be your next step. So as someone who's been selling for a while, I know that sometimes rejections occur. It's not necessarily anybody's fault. Sometimes it's just mistakenly potentially flagged by the Merch by Amazon team or Merch on Demand team, or maybe you truly missed something as a seller. The whole point being that sometimes mistakes happen. So my approach here, instead of just selecting all 60 something products, is to just select standard t-shirts in the .com marketplace. That way, if for some reason you do get a rejection, you're getting 1 instead of 64 that could potentially count against your account. Then I go through, I don't think I'm going to select youth for this just because most of the other shirts didn't. So we'll just stick with men and women. And then you can go through and you can just choose whichever colors look best. So I'll just have my video editor fast forward through me doing that. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. Again, I wanted to point out this scale feature right here. So if you need to, this design doesn't need it, but if your design doesn't take up the whole t-shirt or it takes up too much of the t-shirt, you can always scale this and reposition it and make it however you want, essentially. So I'm going to put this back how it was, but just so that you know that that feature is there. Then we're going to move down to pricing. So y'all know that I price everything new on my account at $14.99. You can see that I make $1.19 royalty from that. And then again, once I have 20 sales, 50 sales, 100 sales, I keep bumping up the price up to $19.99. Then since we're not listing any other items, I'm just going to scroll past all of these and we'll head down to our design title, brand, and bullet points. So then I'm going to open up the notes that I previously made. You can see all of these keywords that I made a list of, and I'm just going to put them on my other screen so you're not going to be able to see them for just a second. I'm going to utilize these in writing my design title, my brand, and specifically my bullet point. So for my design title, I'm going to say funny, it's another half mile or so hiking enthusiast. Remember, you don't have to put t-shirt on the end of this. Actually, don't put t-shirt on the end of this because Amazon will do that for you. So if I had done that, it would say funny, it's another half mile or so hiking enthusiast t-shirt. It would say a duplicate of t-shirt. So again, make sure that you're leaving that off. And then for the brand, I like to kind of stay like anonymous on the Amazon and Etsy spaces. And so I list all of my items under a different brand. It's completely up to you whether you actually want to build up a brand or do what I'm doing. So for the brand today, I'm going to use the brand Mountain Hiking Outdoor Designs. We'll see if that passes our trademark check here in just a few minutes. Now I'm going to move on to the bullet points. So typically for the bullet points, I like the first bullet point to essentially be a description of the product, and then feature bullet point number 2 to basically describe who this product best fits. So for feature bullet point number 1, I'm going to say, are you planning a family vacation or getaway in the great outdoors? Get ready for some mountain hiking. Don't forget your hiking shoes and stick. Enjoy the view and keep morale high by encouraging other hikers that it's only another half mile or so. We will trademark check this in just a second and you'll see where something is that we might need to change here. So I usually copy and paste this down into the product description. And then my feature bullet point number 2, I always copy the design title. So you can see funny, it's another half mile or so mountain hiking design is great for the outdoor lover, passionate trail runner, hiking companion, or scout leader you know. Enjoy camping or trekking your way through nature. So excuse my Grammarly, this is just popping up here and giving me other suggestions, but it doesn't understand marketing or keywording. So I'm just going to ignore it for the sake of this video. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I always click on this Merch Informer trademark checker right here at the top. So you can see that there are a few things we need to address. Our title and our brand looks perfectly fine. So then we always want to trademark check everything. So you can see here that the Great Outdoors is trademarked. So I'm going to click right here on cereal. You can see that the trademark type is text and the status is live. It'll bring you to this page. If this is green like this, that means that, again, it's a live trademark. Then you should go to documents, specimen, and then you can see that this is actually a legitimate clothing brand or outdoor clothing company. So I'm going to go through and just change my wording on that. And then this one, the view, I'm assuming that they think that this is in violation of The View, the morning talk show, if you're familiar with that. It says typeset, so that means maybe potentially the actual font. So I'm going to click on this one as well. Again, this one is live. Click on Documents, Specimen. So I'm not using the same font here, but again, this is for the show, the ABC show, The View. And so just to be extra careful, I'm just going to change both of these things so that I don't get a rejection. So you can see here, I changed this one to, are you planning a family vacation or getaway in nature or outdoors? I'm going to make sure that I copy and paste that down here into this other section. This hasn't quite updated yet, but that's okay. And then where I say enjoy the view, maybe I can say enjoy a view. Then I'm going to trademark check everything. And you can see that these are just single word trademarks. So in summary, remember, we are not keyword stuffing here. We're also not using the word GIF, and we are always trademark checking so that we're not accidentally infringing on somebody else's work. So once we've put all of that work in, I am completely happy with this. I can scroll down to the bottom here and click on publish. Then we'll just have to click on publish again. And then we're just going to basically have to wait for the Merch on Demand team to review the shirt and say, yep, it can be live on the Amazon website. So that was my entire process from start to finish, beginning with keyword and market research through design creation and finally to listing that product live on my Merch on Demand account. I hope that was helpful. If it was, please do me a huge favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would absolutely love to have you here. Let me know, as always, if you have any questions in the comment section down below. Feel free to follow me on my social channels right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.